Hey, beautiful Love Goddess. Welcome to a new episode of Love Goddess Podcast. And today I want to talk to you about what to do when you're putting yourself out there and nobody is showing up for you. Everyone is so afraid of failure. And yet failure is really the only thing that keep us going and getting us closer to success. Success does not exist without failure. Now, I just read, and the topic for this podcast has appeared specifically because I have just read an article about a mom who invited 27 kids to her daughter's third birthday party. She rented the playroom, and she bought the pizza and put the money and time into organizing, and not a single person showed up. Not a single person showed up. And it resonated with me, first of all, because, I'm a mom and, sometimes I wonder, what happens if nobody comes? How sad would that be for a kid, right? And second, it resonated with me because of my own experience, how much I'm showing up and nobody is showing up for me. And I think it's important to talk about this, and I'm about to get really raw and vulnerable with you, so you know what it takes and how much effort it takes to really get anywhere in life. Let's start with really getting to the core of the story with the mother, right? One thing I've learned from being in business for so many years is that how you do your marketing matters. You can't just throw a message out there and thinking that it's gonna stick, right? And that's why it hasn't been working for me, because in order for it to yield results, you need to be the one reaching out, setting up, organizing. So as sad as this is for the kid and the mom and who did the party, but my gut feeling is that she didn't do any of the work that is actually required to organize a party and really make sure that, she's reaching out to the parents, making sure she's following up, creating a specific list, confirming attendance so she has proper expectations. You can't just throw it out there and just to random people, because if you are in the mom environment, most likely friends that your child has are somewhere from either the school or kindergarten or whatever. So a lot of times it's not your personal connections, it's just some other connections that you don't, with people who you don't even know, you don't have anything established. So as much as it is sad, most likely mom didn't do the work that is required for it to be successful. And if you translate this into a business language, it's the marketing. Mom did not do the marketing portion to really properly promote her event. So it's not yes, it is about the child, but it is also about the mother who didn't do what really it takes to have success. There is a recipe for success. It is working for other people, and it's not working for other people. Well, most likely these people don't do what is required for it to be successful, and these people do. And most likely the difference is just that much of a difference. It's just tweaking something. And in most cases, it's really, for me, it has been, the discovery lately has been, hey, I'm sharing so much. I've been sharing so much content on social media for years, and I have zero engagement, and my likes are non-existent. And it's like I'm putting myself out there. I'm vulnerable. I'm doing consistency. I'm like, but my account is not growing. In fact, it's like it's growing backwards, right? And so I'm like, what is it that I'm doing wrong? And I did actually receive an answer, and it makes perfect sense, because the answer from now the business school that I am enrolled in from the marketing department is that, hey, I haven't been doing this one thing that makes all the difference. And this one thing was social outreach. I haven't been commenting, following, and like social media is really about being social. You can't just throw something out there and sticks, and like the light bulb moment happened. So that is why I am so relating to this mother, because I am that mother in a sense. I am the mother in another sense that, as I'm starting this journey of expanding, and particularly in the coaching department where I'm like revamping my programs, reintroducing, opening up, like positioning myself more and more, where people don't no longer see me as a photographer, which I haven't been for years now, but people still see me as a photographer, right? And I am not a photographer. I'm a CEO, and I'm a coach, and I am CEO of multiple brands. So I am not a photographer. I am, but it's not what I like really do on a daily basis, if you know what I mean. So with that being said, as I started working through implementing the system of showing up with my workshops, with my coaching workshops, and the way we are being taught is, you serve your heart out for free, and then people who want to continue your journey, they will sign up for a paid program. So that's really the basic approach that I'm following with all of my workshop marketing, and how I promote my programs. And, you would think I formed a database of women for all these years that are in photography. So one lesson that I've learned is that my photography client is not my coaching client. Absolutely not. And they even look different. They even have different problems. And so that's one thing I've learned, where before I thought they're the same and they would need my coaching services, and that turns out to be wrong. And I have to build from ground zero to build up my coaching clientele. So and with that being said, the way I've learned this is women show up in my dedicated Facebook group for photography purposes only. They want to see lingerie. They want to see beautiful images of women. They want, all things that are photography related. And a lot of them don't care for coaching. So that's another reason why I was guided to split both of my groups, and now I have VIP group that is for photography, and then I have my tribe group that is for coaching. So moving forward with that, I did my very first free workshop in February. And I thought, oh my God, we're going to introduce me as a coach. It's going to be beyond Boudoir event. It's going to be fun. It's going to be amazing. Women's going to be like cheering me on. And we started the event, and we had crickets. And no one, and maybe we had like one person join for like 5-10 minutes, leave, one person join. And you know how hard it is to speak to the wall? You know how hard it is to keep, and I went into this with this really pumped up energy. I specifically worked that energy out so I can share it with women. And it would have been perfectly great if I shared it with women, because women would have shared it back with me, and this would be an energy exchange. But when you only give, and when you give into the void where there is no one to bounce back at you that energy, it is freaking draining. It is so hard. And so that was one of the lessons that I have learned from going through the very first workshop, is that unfortunately, I went through so much turmoil too. I remember just like on day 4, and it's a 9-day workshop, right? On day 4, I was like, I had enough. Not only I'm paying my team, like the whole workshop altogether, from start to finish, probably cost me anywhere between $500 and $1,000, and I'm hosting this for free, in teamwork and labor and preparation, right? And I'm hosting this for free, hoping that women would join me. Because I'm coming from this place of serving. I want to serve women. At least if they don't buy, they get so much value, because my purpose in life is to serve women. My purpose in life is to help women, to guide them to the life that they deserve, to a better life altogether. And it is so defeating when nobody gives a shit, if you know what I mean. And I thought we pumped it up, and I thought we marketed well, but we had no attendance. And so I am that mother in a sense where I've done it once. I've had nightmares. I remember on day 3 or 4, and we have 9 days to go, I am like exhausted, crying for the remaining, like I have this 1 hour where I show up all excited and all pumped up and like ready to rock and like get women all excited. So cause I want to serve them, but then the energy drops immediately, and like I can't even walk. I like crawl into bed, and I can't even come out because I cry because of how draining it was. How I was so defeated, and how I allowed this to be defeating for me, I guess is a better way to put it. How nobody cared for my life's work, for all that I am giving so much value for free, where other people pay me thousands of dollars. It's $25,000 to work with me altogether, and like I'm giving so much of my energy for free, and nobody gives a shit. That is so defeating, like for the very first workshop that we've done. And so I am that mother that is first of all learning by failing. Right? I've learned by failure. Somehow we still had one client out of it, which was amazing. And it has given me a lot of clarity on how to do my programs moving forward. On top of that, I'm blessed to actually, and I had a conversation with my psychic, and I asked her, why didn't women show up? Why didn't we have a success? And she goes, oh, well, that's your angels protecting you. Like, I'm feeling protective energy. And then guess what happened? One of my main key person quit. I go on vacation to Mexico. I leave her to train another person to do the work. They mess up. I get mad. I express myself. And she gets all defensive and offended. And apparently she already lined up another job somewhere else. So as soon as I land from Mexico that day, I touch down from Mexico, come home, maybe have a little nap, and in the morning she sends me this email, blocks me everywhere, and like cuts any communications. Like, who does that? Who does that? I've given her the honor, the training, the like, she spent a year with me. It is just so ungrateful. I still am not okay with this. I am still have not released this. I still have a lot of resentment. I still have a lot of hurt and like I'm still not okay with how it went down. I'm still not, I have not forgiven that person from doing what she's done. And she had a lot of responsibilities that I also have learned. So it was quite a bit of a learning experience for me. I've since then learned to divide and conquer. I cannot delegate one person all these responsibilities and then be left all by myself to figure out how in the world am I gonna work through all of that, in addition to everything else that I was doing. So I've learned to split my positions, even if they had to be part-time, they had to be split. So, and there's always a backup to each position. So there's never one person in one position. We always have a backup. So that's one lesson that came out of it. It took me about 6 months to get back on my feet after this, but we did it and we came out much stronger. And now we have 4 different positions. And so moving into like going back to that initial workshop that we did, that we didn't have the turnaround that I was expecting or wanting. It was truly protective. From my guides, from the universe, to protect me from being too overwhelmed because I had my hands full in the next 6 months. I'm actually surprised I was able to manage that one client that I had while going through all of that. So it was actually a blessing in a sense. Now, we did, after I was back on track, after we got back on our feet, the second workshop that we did was crickets. Put so much money, work, and in labor into doing this, and effort, and no one showed up. Well, I mean, we had like maybe just a few people show up, but it is so defeating when you showing up and people are not showing up back for you yet. Now, let's talk about the yet part. Because every success, you have to fail so many times to yield a success. So I've been reading this one book that was recommended by someone I follow and respect, called Dialogue with the Devil or Conversation with the Devil. There are a lot of things, and so during that time I'm listening to the book, and the example is, you have to fail, and they bring up the examples of Thomas Edison failed like 1,000 times or more, like way more, to get his light bulb finally put together. Disney failed, like everyone failed, but then they got through, and the key is to just showing up and pick up momentum. And then I also remember Tony Robbins saying that, like, when he started, like, look at him now, he has like multi-thousands in Palm Beach Convention Center for multiple day workshops that are not cheap either. Like, this is the beginner level, like the entry level workshop, and it's right around $700-800 right now, right? And then he was sharing a story of how he first started in this coaching industry, and how he started the coaching industry, actually should be better said, right? And how like back then they didn't have online, they didn't have like what you did, you rented rooms at hotels, not rooms, banquet halls, or like what you call those, I can't remember. Anyway, you know what I mean. And you did an event at the some kind of convention center, or a hotel, and how he shared the story that his first event, only one person came from all the marketing. And like back in the day, they did paper marketing, right? So they had to distribute, they had to put advertisements in newspapers, so it was completely different, everything. And how only one person came from all the efforts and he just poured into that one person. And so like stories like that are very empowering, very inspiring, and I'm just understanding that it requires so much more effort that I originally thought or anticipated, and requires consistency, it requires showing up, but it also requires all other pieces working together in unison, right? It requires your messaging working together, your marketing working together. It requires so many pieces working together for all of it to come together, right? And I'm still in a very beginning journey of this, and now I understand a lot of theory, and now it takes practice. I'm like setting up my selling department now, setting up my marketing department now. There's so many other, scaling on top of everything. So, and then taking risk, and that's another scary thing. Taking risk and not knowing whether it's gonna work out is a completely different conversation here. So I want to finish off this this episode of my podcast with really saying that when people are not showing up for you, and you keep showing up, 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 don't get defeated. Don't quit. Don't quit. And it may take multiple times for you to show up to an empty room, but in your core believe that somebody, at least one person, will hear you. At least one person will hear you, and that's enough. And what's your why? Like, why are you doing this? Connect to your why. Is it worth it for you that one person's gonna hear you, and you keep doing and doing and doing? Know that in the end, the momentum will pick up. The ball will stop rolling, and things will start working out, and more people will start showing up, until you have, when he's been doing this for like 40-50 years, you have like this stadium full of people who are cheering on you. But it requires years and decades in the making. It's not like, the more I'm in it, the more I understand there's no such thing as overnight success. Overnight success tends to take a decade to become an overnight success, when people actually start noticing what you've been doing for all this time. And with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope you don't get defeated when things are not working out for you. And I hope you continue on with what it is that you're doing, because your why is stronger than the fear of failure.